In the last video on the image principle, we discussed how having a static image of the instructor or pedagogical agent doesn't improve learning. However, the image of the instructor or pedagogical agent can help if it's used to engage the learner through motions such as gestures, pointing, and other social cues. This is called high embodiment. Embodiment refers to physical actions the instructor or agent can do to create a social connection with the learner. These are categorized into gestures, drawing, eye contact, and perspective, and are compared in terms of being high or low embodiment. High embodiment in gestures include anything from pointing to a graphic to natural gestures and body language you make when you're talking, while low embodiment involves the instructor or agent standing still while the lesson is delivered. High embodiment in drawing is when the instructor draws out the image live instead of showing the fully completed image. For eye contact, high embodiment refers to having the instructor look at the learner, or the camera, during the lesson, instead of showing her or his back to the learner. And high embodiment in perspective refers to showing the learner the lesson through the instructor's first-person perspective, like an over-the-shoulder shot, while low embodiment refers to showing a third-person perspective with the camera facing the instructor. This is why a static image of the instructor, which would be considered low embodiment, doesn't work. Studies focusing on gesture and body language show that learners in the high embodiment group did better, with effect sizes ranging from 0.35 to 1.10, but only if a human voice is used. If a machine voice was used to narrate the lesson, the embodiment effect is greatly reduced. A similar study that looked only at hand gestures showed that the students in the high embodiment group did better, with effect sizes ranging from 0.72 to 1.02. Having the instructor draw out the graphic also seems to help, although it seems to benefit students with low prior knowledge more than those with high prior knowledge. A related experiment that showed the instructor's hand while drawing showed it benefiting both low and high prior knowledge students. Eye contact also seemed to help, though not consistently, with 3 out of 4 studies showed a positive effect and 1 showing no effect. Finally, showing the learners a first-person perspective seemed to help, with effect sizes ranging from 0.41 to 0.66. Studies on embodiment are still relatively new. Additional studies suggest that there's still a lot we don't know about how embodiment works and why it helps. For example, in one study, students did better when the on-screen agent showed facial expressions, gestures, but not both together. We do know that many parts of the embodiment principle works because it aligns with other principles. Having the instructor or agent point to the relevant graphic is a kind of signaling, and having the instructor draw out the graphic aligns with the segmenting principle and temporal contiguity principle because the learner has time to process the graphic as it is being presented. The embodiment principle also seems to work best for lessons that involve procedure or steps, like showing how something works, or how to build or fix something, or how to solve a problem. The embodiment principle, as it stands now, is also unclear about whether all embodiment should be used together or just a few at a time, especially since some of the studies suggest too much can be counterproductive. It also doesn't address whether having clips of the instructor speaking directly to the learner helps, which you can see in a lot of online videos, if no additional content is on the screen. My personal recommendation would be that if your multimedia presentation demonstrates a procedure and can be illustrated through a series of steps, then showing yourself drawing the illustration or working through the problem might be helpful.